Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make this hand-painted cake. I have my 9-inch board, putting a little bit of buttercream to secure my 6-inch cake on top, and then spreading some buttercream evenly over the surface. Apply your next layer, and I've used 2 6 inches for this. And then just keep building your cake. Make sure it's centered, and then press down firmly. I'm going to add a crumb coat to this. It's going to be covered in fondant. Usually I don't really add a crumb coat to fondant, but I feel when I do extra sort of tall cakes, this thin layer of buttercream around the whole cake helps to keep it nice and straight. It's like a bit of stability. So clear off the sides and the top as well, and pop into the freezer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes you can apply your last layer of frosting. So that's just a nice thick layer around the whole of the outside. And then I'll clear it off with my bench scraper, just going around the cake slowly, making it nice and smooth and even. And then use your spatula just to clear off the top, bringing that extra lip of frosting to the middle. In the meantime, while I prepare my fondant, I'll pop that into the fridge or the freezer. Then roll your fondant out to about 2 to 3 millimeters in thickness, and pop any air pockets out of your fondant with a little pin. Press out the air and then use your rolling pin just to smooth it all down again. Lay your fondant over the cake, smooth off the top so you release any of that air. Secure the edges, and then to attach your fondant to your cake, just sort of unravel those folds and press downwards. You don't want to kind of move your hand up the cake when you do this, otherwise you'll trap air in it again. You want to always be pushing the air out towards the outside of the cake. Use your bench scraper, your fondant smoother to secure the very bottom, and then cut it off with a palette knife. Then go around one more time with your fondant smoother around the outside of the cake, and here I'm using 2 fondant smoothers, one to smooth the top and to also create the really sharp edges. So it takes about 20 minutes, and you just keep making these small circular motions at the very top, just bringing those smoothers together. Now for our paint that's going to go on the outside, that kind of misty sky that you saw before, I'm using an airbrush, some blue Amerimist airbrush colour, and adding in a little bit of vodka to dilute it because you don't want it to be too dark. Now I'm holding my airbrush maybe about 30 centimeters away from the cake, constantly rotating your turntable. You do not want to pause, otherwise you'll cause blotches. If you had a Lazy Susan, I would use that instead. And because I want it to be a bit darker at the top, I'll move in with my airbrush, make it a little bit close, and that creates darkness. And then pull away from the cake to create that sort of ombre kind of effect. Here I have some gel food colors, adding a little bit of alcohol to create a paint. And I have a list of all the colors down below. I'll go in with my green first to create the stems of the flowers, mix it in with the alcohol and dab off any excess, and start painting onto your cake. I'm kind of doing thin brush strokes, just moving up, try to keep the motion nice and fluid. And I have 0 experience with painting, so trust me, if I can do this cake, anyone can do this cake. It's very easy. I'm creating little branches right at the top, and a couple here and there near the bottom. If you find it easier, you can hold your hand steady with your other hand. Just makes for a neater cake, neater painting. And I tried to make each one different sort of shaped, different length, kind of jagged here or there, just so they all look natural. Then I went in with some yellow just on the right hand side of each one in different areas, and then I went in with my brown, try to keep it at the very bottom to halfway to the bottom, just to add a bit more interest. And I didn't add as much brown as I did yellow. Here I'm just going in again with a little bit of that yellow. Again, keeping to the right side. You don't really have to, you can do it on the left, you can do it either way, but I just felt like it looked nicer on the right side. And then to create the flowers, I'm not blotching off any of that colour from the brush. I've dipped it into the paint and directly onto the cake. That way you get those blotches of blue that separate each mark as their own flower. if you know what I mean. It just gives the flower a lot more dimension. It makes it look a little bit more realistic. But all I'm literally doing is just blotching it onto the cake directly over the branches. Concentrating them at the very top, and then adding a few spares on the bottom / the smaller branches. And if you like, you can go in with a little bit of turquoise as well. I just did it here and there, not too many. Adds a bit of interest, seeing as the branches had 3 different colours. The flowers looked kind of dull if I didn't go in with a bit of green or turquoise. And then paint in some grass. And you'll notice you go light-handed first, and when you go in a second time with a darker shade, so you don't blush off as much grass, you end up with a lot more dimension at the bottom. So I double layered it. So go in lightly first and then add in a bit more colour. Now I didn't really like the bottom, I felt like it needed a little bit of something, so I airbrushed on a little bit of brown to create a haze. To finish off our cake, apply a little bit of buttercream into your piping bag with a circle tip and create a small shell border all around the bottom. Decorate with some flowers, I use the same flowers that I painted, and you're done. You make a hand-painted floral cake. Thank you guys for watching, and this is a special video to commemorate our 150k. What? That is insane. Thank you so much. It's just unbelievable. When I started up this channel, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would reach 150k. It's something that I did for fun, and now it's something that I'm super passionate about because I've made such a great connection with you people. I love you have been commenting, have been emailing me, I've made a lot of friends along the way, and it's just insane. Thank you so much. I would not be here without you guys. And having said that, I do have a special that I'm running on my Instagram page, a little something. So I'm Rosie's Dessert Spot on Instagram. You can check it out if you like, just to celebrate the 150k. And yes, I'll catch you next time. Thank you again so much for everything. Thank you.